What if the most powerful healing tools on this planet were never created in a lab, but written down thousands of years ago? And here's the part nobody tells you. We've been walking past them every single day, while people spend hundreds, even thousands, chasing the latest miracle supplement. These plants have been quietly doing the same job for centuries. Today, I'm breaking down 15 biblical plants that still hold real healing power, and modern science is finally catching up. Now listen closely. Number 12 shocked researchers when they tested it against depression. And number 15, that one might completely change how you look at your own kitchen. Let's get into it. Number 1, frankincense. This wasn't just a gift, it was a signal of value. When the wise men brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh, frankincense stood right next to gold. That tells you everything. This resin has been used for over 5,000 years to calm inflammation deep inside the body. Not just surface relief, but systemic support. Modern research shows compounds called boswellic acids may help with joint pain, breathing issues, and even gut inflammation. But here's what most people miss. Ancient people didn't just burn it for aroma. They inhaled it with purpose. They used it for respiratory relief. And in many cases, when inflammation is reduced, the body simply functions better, especially as we get older and things don't recover as easily. It's quiet, but it's powerful. Number 2, myrrh. Now, this one is intense. Myrrh appears at the beginning of Christ's life, and again at the end. That's not random. That's because it was one of the most trusted infection fighters of the ancient world. We're talking antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-inflammatory. And here's the surprising part. Some studies show it may even act against resistant bacteria, the kind that modern medicine struggles with today. Think about that. Thousands of years ago, people were using something we're still trying to replicate. They applied it to wounds, used it for gum health, even for internal infections. And that bitterness? That's part of the power. Bitter compounds can stimulate digestion and activate healing responses in the body. I've seen people overlook bitter herbs, but they often play a bigger role than expected. It's not pleasant, but it works. Number 3, aloe. You might already have this at home, but you probably don't think of it like this. Aloe was called the plant of immortality, and when it was used in biblical times, it was used in large amounts, not casually. Today, we know it contains over 75 active compounds. It supports skin repair, reduces inflammation, and may help soothe the digestive system. You've probably felt this before. You touch something hot, you apply aloe, and there's instant relief. That cooling effect, that's not just comfort. That's the start of healing. And internally, aloe may support gut lining, which becomes more important with age, especially for those dealing with long-term irritation. Simple, but incredibly effective. Number 4, olive. This goes beyond food. Olive oil wasn't just eaten. It was applied, used in healing, used with intention. And today, it's one of the most researched natural substances in the world. It supports heart health, reduces inflammation, and protects cells. But here's what people overlook. Consistency beats intensity. A small amount every day can support more than something taken once in a while. And I've seen this again and again, especially in people over 50. Small habits done daily often create the biggest long-term results. Olive oil is one of those habits. Number 5, hyssop. This one is fascinating. Used in purification rituals, but not just symbolically. Hyssop actually contains compounds that fight microbes, meaning those rituals were also protecting people physically, without them even knowing the science. Today, we see it used for respiratory support, throat health, and immune balance. Simple uses like tea or steam can help clear the airways. And as we get older, respiratory resilience becomes more important than most people realize. This wasn't just ritual, it was practical health. Number 6, figs. This comes from a real recorded moment. A king. Seriously ill. And the treatment? A poultice made from figs. And he recovered. Figs contain enzymes that support tissue healing and have antimicrobial effects. But here's another angle. They're also rich in fiber, which supports digestion. And many people don't realize how much digestion affects overall health. Imagine someone dealing with a stubborn issue, trying everything, then using something as simple as figs. Sometimes, the simplest tools are the most overlooked. Number 7, pomegranate. This one is powerful, and it deserves more attention. Pomegranate is packed with antioxidants at extremely high levels. Studies show it may support heart health, improve circulation, and reduce inflammation. But here's the part most people miss. It may help maintain flexibility in blood vessels, which is critical as we age, because stiffness is where problems begin. I've seen people add pomegranate regularly, and over time, notice better energy and circulation. Not instantly, but steadily. If you're enjoying this, you can subscribe. And if you'd like to keep learning like this, just press 1. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Number 8. Mustard. Most people think of mustard as just food, but historically, it was medicine. Mustard plasters were used on the chest to break up congestion. They create heat, increase circulation, and help clear the lungs. And yes, they're strong. They need to be used carefully, but they work with the body, not against it. Mustard also contains compounds that may support detox pathways and reduce inflammation. It's simple, but very effective. Number 9. Mint. You probably use this all the time, but not like this. Mint was once valuable enough to be tithed. That means it mattered. And there's a reason. Mint supports digestion, reduces nausea, and opens the airways. Peppermint oil has been shown to help with IBS symptoms. Here's a familiar moment. You eat too much. You feel that discomfort. A cup of mint tea can shift that feeling quickly. I've seen this especially in older adults, where digestion becomes more sensitive. Mint brings gentle, reliable relief. Number 10. Garlic. This one is undeniable. Garlic has been studied more than most plants. It supports blood pressure, cholesterol, and immune function. And it fights bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Ancient workers were given garlic to maintain strength. And today, even doctors recommend it. That's a full circle. The key is consistency. A small amount regularly can support a lot, especially for heart health over time. Number 11. Cinnamon. This spice was once more valuable than gold, and now it's sitting in your kitchen. Cinnamon helps regulate blood sugar, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce inflammation. For people dealing with energy crashes or sugar swings, even small amounts can help stabilize things. I've seen subtle but meaningful changes with consistent use. It's simple, but don't underestimate it. Number 12. Saffron. This is the one that surprised researchers. Saffron has been shown in studies to support mood at levels comparable to some medications. That's significant. It also supports brain health and may help protect vision as we age. Imagine someone feeling off, low energy, not quite themselves. Then, slowly, things begin to lift. Not instantly, but gradually. And in many cases, natural support can play an important role alongside lifestyle changes. It's expensive, but powerful. Number 13. Vine. The grapevine appears everywhere in Scripture, and there's a reason. Grapes, and especially red wine in moderation, support heart health. They contain compounds that protect blood vessels and reduce inflammation. You've probably heard of the French paradox. This is part of it. But here's the key. Moderation? That's where the benefit lives. Especially as we age, protecting the heart becomes essential. Number 14. Cedar. This one is different. Cedar wasn't just used for building. It was used for protection. The oils in cedar resist decay, repel insects, and fight microbes. That's why it was used in sacred spaces. Today, cedar oil may support skin health and respiratory comfort. It's subtle, but protective. And sometimes, protection is just as important as healing. Number 15. Cumin. This is the one most people overlook. Because it's already in your kitchen, cumin supports digestion, reduces bloating, and may help regulate blood sugar and cholesterol. But here's the real insight. It was used daily, not occasionally, daily. And that's what made it powerful. I've seen this pattern again and again. The things we ignore are often the ones that quietly support us the most. So if you made it this far, you're starting to see the pattern. These aren't myths. They're not trends. They're systems that have worked for thousands of years. And now, science is finally catching up. So tell me this. How many of these are already in your life? And you just weren't using them the right way? Because sometimes, the biggest change isn't finding something new. It's finally understanding what's been there all along. Now, here's something most people don't realize. Knowing these plants is one thing. But the real shift happens when you start seeing the pattern behind them. Because none of these worked in isolation. They were part of a system, a way of living. And this is where it gets deeper, because the next few insights might completely change how you think about natural healing. Let's go a level deeper. First, it was never about speed. You heard phrases like heal instantly. But in reality, these plants supported processes. They didn't force the body. They worked with it. And in many cases, that's why they lasted. I've seen people expect fast results, especially today. But the body often responds better to steady, consistent support, especially as we get older. Healing becomes less about speed and more about direction. Second, daily use beats occasional intensity. Look at cumin, mint, olive oil, garlic. These weren't used once a week. They were part of daily life. Small amounts, repeated over time. And that's something most people miss today. They look for one strong solution, instead of building small habits that actually compound. I've seen people add just 1 or 2 of these daily, and over months, things start to shift. Not dramatically, but meaningfully. Third, your kitchen was the original medicine cabinet. Think about it. Cinnamon, garlic, mint, cumin, honey. These aren't rare. They're already in your home, but they've been downgraded to just ingredients, when in reality, they were once considered essential tools for health. And sometimes, the biggest mistake isn't lacking access. It's lacking awareness. Fourth, bitterness matters more than people think. Myrrh, certain herbs, even some parts of figs and greens, bitter compounds trigger digestive and metabolic responses. They wake the system up, and I've seen many people avoid bitter tastes completely, which may actually remove an important signal the body relies on. It's not about enjoying the taste. It's about what it does once it's inside you. Fifth, consistency builds protection. Not just healing, protection. Olive oil supports the heart. Pomegranate supports circulation. Garlic supports immunity. These don't just fix problems. They help prevent them from building in the first place. And in many cases, prevention becomes more important than treatment over time, especially after 50. Sixth, some plants calm, others activate. And balance is everything. Mustard stimulates. Mint soothes. Saffron lifts mood. Cedar calms. The body isn't supposed to be pushed in one direction all the time. It needs both, activation and recovery. And I've seen people improve simply by restoring that balance. Not by adding more, but by choosing the right type of support at the right time. Seventh, natural doesn't mean harmless. This is important. Some of these plants are strong. Mustard can burn the skin. Rue can be too intense. Even essential oils can irritate if misused. And I've seen people assume natural equals safe, which isn't always true. Respect matters. Dosage matters. Context matters. Eighth, your body already knows what to do. These plants don't force healing. They support systems your body already has. Digestion, circulation, inflammation control, immune response. And in many cases, when those systems are supported, the body begins to correct itself. That's the part most people miss. It's not about replacing your body's intelligence. It's about working with it. Now step back for a second. You've just seen something bigger than a list. This isn't about 15 plants. It's about a different way of thinking, a different relationship with what you eat, what you use, what you trust, because the gap between ancient wisdom and modern science is getting smaller every day, and you're right in the middle of that shift. So the question isn't just, which plant will you try? The real question is, what will you start doing differently? Starting today?